Just a couple of days of winter left. I can't remember if the the equinox is the 20th or the 21st, but it changes from year to year a little bit. But I just saw the first bumblebee I've seen for this year, so right on cue. It's almost just a couple of days left of winter. 1 or 2, 3, maybe. I don't just. Oh, there's a little bee. It wasn't a big one like I just saw. Look at that. There's little bees along with the butterflies and just the wind or the pollinators. They spread the pollen all around so that the plants can have fertile seeds. There's a couple more. Look at those little bees. There's all kinds of bees, lots of different varieties of bee. The honeybee just came from Europe, and they brought it here to help fertilize the crops. So the little honeybee makes the gritty, nice sweet honey, which is a great product, and it fertilizes plants. It pollinates is really the word that we use when we talk about plants. It pollinates. And the plants can also fertilize or pollinate themselves too, just with wind, but that doesn't do really a full job. Now, with the honeybee, I'm sure there are many kinds of bees, and I'm sure there was some sort of honeybee in North America, I would assume, but the famous honeybee was brought here by Europe. So I don't really know much about the domestic honey producing bees, but they maybe were more tree bees. I don't really know. I don't know. Ground bees. We got a lot of ground bees around here too. Sometimes you gotta call them ground wasps. There's a difference though. There's some difference between bees and wasps. We have the ground wasp, but we also have those ground bees. In fact, from what I understand, is actually, even though bees are famous for bee colonies, from what I understand, there's really more varieties or species of bees that live in more of a, I don't know what you call it, but just, I don't know if they just live completely like isolated by themselves, or if they just are not colony forming. Maybe it's just they don't form colonies, or I'm not sure. I'm no expert on bees, but the way that we think about bees is not necessarily the most common way that bees live, I guess is the right way to say it. It's just that's a famous kind of bee. Honeybee. There's other kinds of honeybees too. Not just that honeybee, but I don't know. Maybe all bees are technically honeybees. That they all make honey. I don't know. But but there's a famous bee. Well, heck, there's lots of famous bees in different parts of the world. Different parts of the world make different kinds of famous honey. And the bees, because the bees feed or pollinate or whatever, the nectar, which is what they eat, and then there's the pollen, which is what they pick up and take with them and spread around. Certain nectars of certain plants, which is what we kind of call, in general, botanicals. Botanic is related to flowers and herbs and that sort of thing. The botanicals that the bees use in making their honey have certain properties, certain molecular compounds, and some of those have different flavors, but also have different nutritional values, and they have a lot of healing properties. And so in different parts of the world, they have different kinds of bee products that are made from their local bees that have value based on both differences in flavor but also differences on the compounds that have certain nutritional and healing properties. Australia is particularly famous for the Manuka honey, and I think it's in Brazil or just maybe South America more general. There's a propolis is the other product along with honey that the bees make, and there's a very famous like healing propolis that comes out of South America. And then in Asia, there's a honey that the bees make that they feed on something that has a sort of a psychoactive compound in it, and it does, I don't know, some people like to eat that. And then then our little honeybees over here, they're different regionally. So if you get some honey from the mountains of North Carolina, and even just within from one mountain to the other mountain, or from one farm to the other farm, the honey can taste different, have different flavors and colors. That's pretty neat. Those bees, those little bees. But the concept and the metaphor of the bee also has a lot to do with us as people in a society. So we kind of pollinate ideas. We can pick up something from one place and we take it to another place. And so we want to be good pollinators. We want to pollinate good things and good ideas and kindness and virtuous things. Try not to pollinate negative things and hurtful things. We want to pollinate good habits, not bad habits. Well, a lot of people be careful not to take advantage of. Some people are really manipulate with this idea of pollination. They'll pick up an idea, and it might be an idea that just benefits them, and they go around and pollinate it simply to benefit them in a way that's not necessarily good, but it can be very harmful to other people. There's a lot of that in politics too, pollinating ideas. So it's the bee metaphor has a lot of pertinence to us as people in society. Also, the way bees work together as a quorum, as a group, it's really interesting. It might tell us something about how, as like what we call maybe like a meta-organism, you combine the activities of all the bees in a colony, it starts to look like a lot like a neural network, which similarly in humans would be more, we would think of it more as about our entire brain. So maybe the colony of bees together act kind of like a decentralized brain. It's kind of interesting. And other insects too, and other things. And even you can take that into a lot of different areas, more of like even like the whole network of like an ecosystem. And then also between people. So there's kind of this thing between people where our brains work independently, but then they also work together. So we're all here together. I love you.